Hello, guys, and welcome to my humble abode here. Anyway, this is Pete Dalton, and I am building a Mirror Smalls F86. I don't know how well you guys can see this or not, but what I'm getting ready to do is I'm putting metal frames around everything, and it's all pretty much been done. And I'll explain a little bit more in this detail and show you how to do these, because this side has not been done. I just prepped it for time's sake. But anyway, basically what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm duplicating the frames on the F86 because it's just something that needs to happen. And I got it a little bit too beat up in some areas where I didn't really like what I was seeing. It's very important that you have a good sharp blade. Now, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can get you guys all closer here. See if I can get you guys a little bit. There we go. And there. Well, anyway, what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm actually following the lines I actually already put in here. But what I'm wanting to do is just kind of go in and get these frames like I did right here and get them all over. And to do that, you just want to come in and use your knife and trim these out like so, but you won't want to use anything but low tack tape. It's not going to peel the finish off, but I'll tell you one thing, it does not like itself when it yeah, it looks pretty good. Anyway, it doesn't look good when you for some reason it just doesn't work well with any other tape. And it'll stick to itself pretty good if you don't. Yeah, notice when I do my knife, I don't hold it. You can't do this with it. So you might be able to, but I hold it about here and just pull it straight up and down, keeping a very sharp blade. And you'll notice I don't try to cut through it all at one time. I'll make several passes at it. And the reason for that is because I don't want to cut the fiberglass underneath it. And you could use a pen on it to trace it there, but then you're kind of looking at different areas. Now, these are not difficult areas to put in, but they are kind of you want to kind of be paying attention to where you're putting these down. And you want this tape on here like so, and you want to kind of mask off what you're going to be putting in first. And then we're going to just put this on. And believe it or not, this is good. I'm going to take this window out real quick because I don't want to scratch it by accident. I have another set in there. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going to put in this aluminum can get a really shitty attitude on you, and I mean quick. You'll love it 1 second, then you're going to turn around and go, oh my god. Basically a piece about that long, and you're going to want to do it that way because you're going to put it in like so. Now, I don't use anything really super hard, but what I got is I got a sanding sponge for doing body work. I use this for everything. Just a little pad. One's hard and one's a little bit softer. And you don't want to put this on anything but a hard surface. I mean, I've heard guys doing it and using it real soft, but it'll just dent and look like crap after a while. Now, as I said, we're going to take a piece. Oh, yeah, I like that. And then we're going to put it across like this. And you're going to notice it's pretty long. And the reason for it is because you're going to want to follow the grain to an extent, but not all the way. But you want a little bit in here, and here's another little dirty trick that'll help you in getting this set up. Put a little piece of tape on it like that. I love working with masking tapes because this I can kind of go and preliminarily go and get this thing to where it's going. This little wrinkle, don't worry about it. Now what I want to do is I want to just kind of see how it's going to fit in the situation here. And then I'll just peel the back off. And this tape is going to give you enough to be able to keep that tight and pretty straight. And then you can just kind of peel this off. And like I said, if you see a little bit of where your wrinkles, you don't want to worry about that too much right now, and you just touch it like so, like this and like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently touch it, and you're going to watch it kind of magically appear before your eyes, and it's kind of neat stuff. And this is basically the same thing as the flight metal. From what I could tell, it goes on the same way. You can get a deal like that. You can use your scissors, or you can buy the burnishing tool if you want to. I don't worry about it because this thing here, the glue, is forgiving enough to where it's going to actually go and actually show you something. Now, I left those screws underneath it, and they do kind of pop through, and then I'm going to re-layer them again. Now, if you're concerned about this is kind of a really big deal. I'm painting this part, so I'm not going to worry a whole lot about it. And then you'll notice down here, now I've got it on the blue tape. Just cut your excess off, like so, and then start here and push it in. Don't try to get too overly zealous with it. You just want to get enough of it. And your blade gets dull, change it. It will do that. And then your tape line that's right in here, you just want to go slightly above it and just follow it, just like that. And it will actually allow you to pull that tape off like this and get a really nice clean edge on it. And the same thing with over here. And then again, I don't ever hold my knives with like the Vulcan Death Grip. I just come up here and get them. You get more control of it that way, and you can kind of drive the blade a lot easier by doing it that way, and don't try to stop it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm showing you just pull that off like this and like that. Don't get too worried about what you're looking at because it's nowhere near done. Now this looks, oh, that don't look too bad. Well, it'll try you. Now you'll notice there's a little raise in it right there. Don't try to trim it. You take your sponge again like so, and you just pull it straight down. And then you can rub that edge on the edge like this. You can rub that. And it's like I said, make sure you're getting it cut and double checking it. Don't get too aggressive with it. And you may not cut all the way through it the first time, and that's probably better that you don't. So anyway, I got this done. Now I got this rough edge here. I'll just take the edge of the scissor and I'll rub it in like so. Now this is where I come to this other piece here. This piece and this piece comes in kind of hand in hand a little bit. And since I already masked this one up, I had another piece covering it off. And it's just trying to figure it out, where it's going to be, how it's going to live. And since I already took this piece out, I need to fix that. It's not a big deal. And this is why you want to be using low-tack tape. Don't go using the white stuff, because it won't let go of the white stuff, but it won't stick to the low-tack, the blue. You can use green, I'm supposing, but I would use anything, painter's tape. I would just do it because it's just a better deal. And it works extremely well and without any issues or headaches or hiccups. I haven't had any problems with any part of the jet yet. Now this one here, we're going to have to put another piece across the front here. Now we can make the other piece. And again, you want to get kind of another one that's about that long to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to stick it on like so. So a roll of this stuff is not flipping cheap. So I mean, it's going to be cheaper than paint, but it's not going to be. I got that one really super long. A lot longer than it needed to be, but that's okay, because these make really good hatches and doors and little things. So you just want to get it, and again, you're going to want a really good pair of shears for this stuff, because you don't want to distort the edge on it. And again, I'll just take a little piece of tape, any old tape, and I'll just put it on here. I think one of the biggest things was when I started looking at this stuff, so many people put this in overkill. There's a million different ways to do this stuff, and it's not about, well, you got to buy that special burnishing tool, because a Sharpie is all the burnishing tool you'll ever really need for a lot of this stuff. Now, here, I put this down. And I want you guys to kind of look at this, because this is kind of tricky when you come in, because this part goes flat. So basically all I'm going to do is come in and tap it down as straight as possible, trying to keep from doing what I just did right there, but that's not a problem. Now, we got a kind of a compound corner going here, and even though this does not look all that tough, it can be a cantankerous thing, because this is moving around. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take, and I'm actually using the cap of the pen. Now, you can do this a million different ways, but I'm doing it my way on this because it works for me, but you can do this any other way you want. You can take this, you don't want anything that's going to be done, but you do need kind of a rounded area, and that will help that. This is going to be your best friend when you come in, and you just push it in, and you just let it go, and you're going to have to reach under on these canopy frames, because they will move a little bit. It's no big deal. We'll give it a whipping. And then any of these hard, stubborn areas, I just come back in and I rub it out like that. You get a little bit of wrinkling. You're going to have to sand this stuff, so don't get too crazy. And again, we're going to come back in. And we're going to be very gentle when we're cutting into this. You're going to want to go And you can see that line right there. You can actually see it. So anyway, you want to go on it, and you'll figure it out. It does take a little bit of a touch, and then you just cut these little areas out. It doesn't stick to this blue tape, so basically it's it makes it for a safer bet on this, and this is what you're going to be looking at. But you want to be kind of paying really close attention to these things. And you'll notice I just randomly cut this.
So let's take a look at the hunter.
Now, when you get this all cut out, you'll feel a little bit under here, and I'll show you just how to do that here in just a minute. This stuff really does not take a lot of brain work to do it, but it does require that you take your time and learn how to do it. And that's that piece. Now, you're going to notice it's real jagged, real rough looking, and that's okay, because you take this little cap, I'm going to come down here, I'm going to touch these. I'm not going too overly crazy. You can do that way, or you can do it, but make sure that you're rolling and pushing it in, because the stuff will stretch. It doesn't bend very well, and it'll stretch, but it will not shrink. It is aluminum, and it's actually pretty cool stuff. And you can stain this stuff as well. Once you get on it, you can oil stain it to get the different colors you're looking for if you're going to do that. We're going to paint this jet, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then you just push and pull it down. Make sure that you're using a sharp blade. That's just one of the biggest secrets to this stuff. And you're going to notice all the trimming that's going to have to be done once you get done, and it's actually not that big of a deal. So, I hope you guys can see me okay. I'm not the best production guy when it comes to my videos sometimes. So, and anyway, we're going to pull this stuff up as straight off of it as possibly can. And I'm just kind of putting it on the table right there. It's very simple to get that little cut of that off, and it will go through blades very quickly, guys. It really actually does. And then again, we want to pull all this stuff up as even as possible, like so. And then you're going to see all your little rough areas. You just go simply with the edge of a scissor. Anything hard, a Sharpie works very well as long as you don't use the cap in. But the white body part on a Sharpie does amazingly well. This will put it down, and this smooths it out. You want to burnish this. We're painting this, so we're not going to worry too much about that. But anyway, I think you guys get the picture on that. And then you'll have your two little pieces that go. You get your two little pieces that go in here and here, and they're just two little shorties, which is where that one will probably go, and then whatever. And then this is what the end result is. It actually comes out pretty quick. And then we'll start doing some rivets and some screws and stuff like that. It's really not that big of a deal with this stuff to put in little things and those little details like that. It really is not. So anyway, but you will go through a lot of tape doing it. And again, a little recap, we'll do a little bit more here. You want to mask that edge of that off so it's actually sitting. Here, let me show you guys this here too. This is something I didn't show because you do want this, just a hair. You just want to see a hair of it, and I mean a hair. You want to see about that much of it when you do the butt seam on it. And that's gonna, it's gonna show you just a little bit on that. Using a piece about that long. And again, you want to be careful that you're not just bending it around, but it will actually conform pretty well. Always use more than you need. Don't try to fit these pieces. It'll drive you batshit freaking crazy if you do. But using the masking tape like this, and that is just fine. And you want to get it to where it's actually over a little bit, and then you can come back. And like I said, this stuff's pretty nice if you're using the blue tape. It will not cooperate with you if you're doing anything else. It just does not play nice with others. It likes to be treated a certain way. It's like my ex-wife. She wants it all, doesn't want to give nothing back. But anyway. And that one's ruined. I don't know what happened there. I thought I cut that in the right spot. Now here's one thing I do want to show you. You guys do screw one up like I just did this one. You haven't burnished it in. It doesn't come off easy. Stuff don't at all, but if you gotta redo it, it's not a problem. Don't try to fix it. Order more material than you need to do this project, if you're going to do this project this way. I'm just showing you what I'm doing and how I do it, because it is kind of a neat little deal. But anyway, again, another recap of it is you want to put it down like so. And you want to leave a little bit showing, just so it's easy enough to see. And then you can cut your material with a pair of scissors and do it very, very gently and neatly, as neat as you possibly can. Make sure you got a piece that's long enough, and then you just peel it back. The sanding procedure on this stuff is not horrible, but it is kind of picky. I always sand everything to 600. And that seemed to work pretty good for this particular part. And you'll notice there are some dings and dents in this, and they're supposed to be there. I put dents in this whole thing, incorporated them because I want this thing weathered. I want it to look like it's been rode hard and put away wet. So anyway, we come above and below again and just cut into the tape. Take time when you're doing this. There's no points for second place. You'll either get it or you won't. And then you just keep on going with it. Then you'll notice again, let me show you this a little bit here. You'll notice you'll get that this little lip right there. You just push it down simply like that, and then you can come back. Can't do this one-handed, obviously. You don't have to push real hard. You just want to get enough of that to where that is going to just slightly overlap it. And then you get now you'll notice you'll get a little bit of trimming in here. It's just taking the blade and simply tracking it perpendicular to the back of the substrate on it. When you do this, then you get the result in here. We'll just go ahead and finish it up while you guys are online here. And I believe that's going to do that one really, really, really well. Now we're going to take a little piece of this here. I don't know if you guys notice that there's a grain to it. I like to run the grains across the ways and then the long ways. It does show up and it does give it some variance. So cut a piece off like so. And like I said, you're going to go through a lot of material. Then again, maybe you won't. I mean, some of you guys watch this show are pretty talented. Actually, been very, 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 very lucky with a lot of you guys that are on here. Got a lot of recognition and made some pretty good friends with a lot of you. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Last year was a good year for that. Now, this is and this is kind of where we're at. I I mean, just getting into this. A little bit of trimming, this and that. Notice I'm using the black side of this pad. You can get these at any O'Reilly's or anything. You don't need to go down and buy 3M. If they got anything that works, get it. A sanding block's a sanding block, guys. 3M didn't invent the damn things. So, they're just, you know, a little more refined than others. Now, if you want to burnish that, you can. But with what I just did here, I'm actually looking with the windows going in it. They just pop right in. And with this is okay. So, and anyway, this is what we're looking at now. And it's shiny, it's nice, but we got a lot more going on. And now my canopy is actually done in aluminum, and that to me really sets it off, and I'm looking at it for the first time like you guys are. And so these are little details that I'm doing onto this jet that are going to make it. It's dark as hell in here. What's going on? I've been on this thing all day, fellas. And so anyway, this looks so much cooler to me than it did before. And the more I'm doing the aluminum on there, the more I get inspired to even do even more. But had I known that, I wouldn't have even primered this airplane. And so it's expensive in some aspects, but this really does show up to being a really actually very nice looking product. And so you can come back in and you can touch it up and you can do whatever you want. I'm going to put screws in it. We're going to be painting this because the front of this is black and the back part is actually red anyway. So now what I got to do is come back in. We're going to be working on sanding this, and this is what it looks like when it's actually sanded, guys. And this is, again, will be painted red, and it goes towards the back of that jet the way there was. The rest of this will be probably it'll all be camo. This is going to be a tulip, but one of the main reasons for wanting to do all the work around this canopy and all this metal work is because I want to weather it. I want it to look old as hell, and I want this to kind of peel through a little bit. So it will get sanded before it's done, but it also will be kind of a really cool deal. But anyway, this is where we're at now, guys, and these panel lines and these details come out looking really good. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the funny papers.